are Galactus and the Silver Surfer? Let's talk about their comic book origins and some of their best comic appearances before Fantastic Four First Steps releases next week. Let's start with Galactus because you need to understand him to understand the Silver Surfer. Galactus is a cosmic being of immense power who's been around basically since the beginning of the Marvel Universe, and he devours planets to sustain himself. Galactus' backstory is a little bit complicated just because it's been retconned so many times and changed so many times over the years, but at time of filming his current backstory is that he was from the previous iteration of the Marvel Universe 616, which is the one that is the main comic timeline, and you're just going to have to run with me for this for a minute just because comics can get very weird and very complicated, so let's just say we'll just roll with it for now and just kind of go with it because comics can get weird. But essentially what happened was that his iteration of the universe was slowly dying and he was one of the last people still standing, and what happened was that the consciousness of that universe that he was in, like I said, comics are weird, did merge with Galactus and he became the character we know today. This combination gave Galactus a whole load of powers which makes him a phenomenal opponent to go up against. He is essentially immortal, he can also control energy, he can reshape a matter at will and also increase and decrease his size, and he is also powerful enough to go up against the Celestials and Mephisto and also hold his own against them. What I will say though is that all of this power is entirely dependent on how much energy he has consumed recently. So if he hasn't fed in a while, it's going to be slightly easier to defeat him because he's not going to have so much power, whereas if he has eaten a whole load of planets recently, he can hold his own against Celestials, which is not exactly easy. But Galactus doesn't find these planets by himself, he actually uses his Herald, aka the Silver Surfer, to surf the galaxy to find the right planets for him, because he obviously needs ones that are very energy rich, and that is where the Silver Surfer comes in. When Galactus chooses his Herald, aka the Silver Surfer, he imbues them with something known as the Power Cosmic, which is essentially a very small part of Galactus's power, and it basically means that the Herald, aka the Silver Surfer, is then invulnerable, can also change their size, and they can fly through space and also control matter, on top of a whole load of other powers. They are nowhere near as strong as Galactus though, or as powerful, but they do have that very small amount of his power, which allows them to become his Herald and then surf the galaxy, trying to find these planets for him to eat. And there are two Silver Surfers I want to talk about today. The first one is the comic book version, Norrin Radd, and the second one is Charlotte Ball, who is the one we're going to be seeing in Fantastic Four First Steps. Both of them are from a planet called Zen-La, and they were actually lovers for a while. What happened was that when Galactus came along to Zen-La to destroy it and eat it for himself, Norrin Radd basically sacrificed himself and said, I will become your herald and find planets for you to consume in exchange for my planet to continue living. Galactus agreed to this, and from then on, Norrin Radd has been the Silver Surfer. Charlotte Ball, on the other hand, is actually the Empress of Zen-La and has never actually been the Silver Surfer in the main Marvel timeline. She was actually the Silver Surfer though in the Earth X run, which is set in a completely different universe. There she was actually the co-Silver Surfer alongside Norrin Radd for Galactus, who was actually Franklin Richards in that universe, which I will go into in a later video because that is a whole thing I do not have time to go into right now. But essentially that is the only time she has ever been the Silver Surfer, with the exception of Fantastic Four First Steps. As for why Marvel has done this, I've got no real idea, but my best guess is that they are saving Norrin Radd for the main 616 timeline of the Marvel Universe. And now that I've gotten the explanation out of the way, if you want to read more about Galactus and the Silver Surfer and you want to read some comics featuring them, I've got a couple of recommendations for you. The first one is Fantastic Four Epic Collection, The Coming of Galactus. This is actually the first time either character appears in comics, and you also see the Fantastic Four go up against them for the first time. So if you're looking for a really easy place to start, there is no better place to start than this because it is literally their first ever appearances. If you're really interested in the Silver Surfer, you can also check out the Silver Surfer Epic Collection, and this actually covers every single major storyline that features the Silver Surfer from the 60s all the way through to the 80s. If that wasn't enough and you also want to see a little bit more about Galactus and the Silver Surfer's relationship with each other, you can also check out the Silver Surfer Parable. Or if you want to see what could be the end of the Silver Surfer's life, you can also check out Silver Surfer Requiem. Or if Galactus is more your thing, you can also check out Galactus the Devourer, and this actually sees Galactus going mad with hunger and targeting Earth. Or if you want to read something that could be translated into the MCU soon, definitely check out Secret Wars by Jim Shooter. This one features Galactus quite heavily, and obviously it is called Secret Wars, so it could be the basis for the new Avengers Secret Wars movie that is coming out in 2027. And finally, there is also Fantastic Four Life Story, and this actually features Reed having a kind of psychic connection with Galactus and knowing that Galactus is coming for decades before Galactus even appears. And we do know from the trailers for Fantastic Four First Steps that Reed is going to at least suspect that some major threat is coming, like Galactus, so it's likely that they have taken this storyline for the movie from this comic. It's also a fantastic starting place for the Fantastic Four in general, so if you are looking to start the Fantastic Four as well and get to know Galactus, you can't go wrong with Fantastic Four Life Story. And that is the end of my very quick explanation for Galactus and the Silver Surfer, so I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do give me a thumbs up. Comment down below, tell me if there's any other characters you'd like to see me cover from Marvel Comics, and I will get right working on that. And don't forget to subscribe to see my Fantastic Four explanation video next week. But until next time everyone, happy reading, and I'll see you next week.